Namaste, ahum, blessings, bendiciones, and thank you for joining me for the Barajas Españolas. We're going one by one. Today we're going to discuss all the suits for the number 5 cards, um, the number 5 group. We're talking about the clubs, the swords, the cups, and the coins, which some people call them pentacles, which is totally fine. It's still what it is. We're going to start with a reminder of clearing your space before you start reading these cards. Also, carefully taking care of these cards. They do connect with you, but they connect with you in the capacity where you have a particular spirit guide that understands these energies. And it may be someone in your lineage, it could be a particular spirit guide. In Spanish, we call them el muerto, which tells you, the dead that come through. That's why it's so important to protect your space and to create a sacred space, not only for you, but for your clients, your family, your home. Because what you want to come through and channel information to you, it's not only going to be, the person telling you, but your intuition is going to kick in. And if you're doing this for clients, then, you have to protect your client, but you also have to open up a light channel for that client's spiritual entourage to speak with yours and to give permissions for the readings. So, and you want clarity, you want the best reading possible for your client. So, the way that I see it is, so I don't have to see them again. They can move on and they can enjoy their lives, so they can ultimately help others because I gave them all the information that I needed to. And it's important that you do that. It's important that you see yourself in that capacity, right? Okay, so let's start going. Now, one thing I do want you guys to understand is this is the Barajas Españolas. This is the Spanish tarot. There's a lot of similarities with the Spanish tarot as far as numbers for numerology that we can use. Also, the clubs here may not necessarily represent all that clubs may represent in another deck. This deck, while you can learn it theoretically, in and out, in the end, it is based on your intuition, what your intuition is providing for you to use as a spread, and ultimately what it means. There are obviously many different meanings, and we're only getting to the beginner. This is just like the beginner. I'm giving you what a beginner would start learning. If I were to tell you how many other meanings each one of these cards has, when and where, it would take me over an hour for each card for me to explain it. So right now I'm just going really quickly over just the top of what these cards represent. But you know fully well that your intuition is going to take over anything I'm going to explain here. And your muerto is going to be in the background saying, no, this is not what I want you to use that for. This is what I want you to use this for. Yes, there is tradition that a lot of us follow. But your clients are not all traditional, and their helpers are not all traditional. Spirituality has evolved. So have our gifts. So it's very good to always remain humble, always remain egoless, always allow yourself clarity to become that open channel, that hollow bone, to allow to receive what it is that you need to receive so that you can help your client. That's the whole thing here. How am I going to help my client? Remember, as a tarot reader, you're not just a tarot reader. You're a therapist, you're a mother, you're a brother, you're a sister, you're a lover, you're a teacher. You are so many people that this person has actually come to see you. Not because you have a sign on the wall. No, 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 no. This goes much deeper than that. Like right now, you, right? You're looking at my video. Why? Now, think again. You wrote listening to these videos so that it expands your knowledge even more. I could be talking in gibberish, and you are still going to get the information that you need from this video. Not understanding, not speaking gibberish yourself. I know speak gibberish, and yet you're able to understand because you wrote this moment, this precise moment in your story so that you can go through this. So these, ultimately, the idea is not to have to use any divination tool, but to sit down, look at your client, look at their face, look at their demeanor, hold their hands, feel the energy, and understand that ultimately you are the tool. You don't need any of these. You are the ultimate divine tool. We practice with these until we understand that we are the perfect tool and we can use it to help people unconditionally. So I'm going to get some water and I will be back. Okay, so we're going to start with the 5 of clubs. Again, these are the Spanish tarots, so they are not always going to be the equivalent of any other tarot. All right, so while these were being done on one side of the world, there were tarots and other divination tools being developed in another part of the world. So even though there is a community effect, there's still differences. So let's look at the 5 of clubs. This is the knowledge card, a knowledge card. Now, again, you take the word knowledge and apply it anywhere you want, okay? Especially when it goes around with other spreads. What are we looking at, right? What knowledge are we looking at? This card in itself refers to knowledge. Either we have acquired it by studying or from life experiences that we have brought in and helped us condition ourselves with that. If if this refers to the client, it indicates a person with a good academic background or with a lot of experience in life. So it's either for you or for your client. They're both the same thing, right? They're both giving you, okay, this is somebody, maybe it's a professional, and it's someone that's went to the school of life, the university of life. So, and it doesn't matter, it's just knowledge. So you can take the card just by itself, place it in anything, and say, okay, well, there's knowledge about this. This person obviously knows their body well, and they know how to take care of it. It's a very healthy person. Doesn't mean that they're not prone to disease. It's that if you're reading this and you're looking at this, and it falls somewhere, if it has to do with your client, and it is your client, it's going to be in that area, that spread that you're going to do about your client. As far as work and projects, you're telling the person, hey, listen, I know you're pretty level-headed. I know that you're educated, but you really need to take another look at your projects. You need to analyze what the long term is, what it is. And in a project could be at work or a project in life. It could be a project in a creative fashion. It could be anything that this person has made into a project. But this card lets them know, listen, it doesn't matter the amount of knowledge that you have, or how many degrees you have from the University of Life. There is a project that you are going to, either you are in presently putting together or in the future, that you need to really, really analyze it before you begin manifesting that particular project. And again, I'm just giving you just the tip top. This is like kindergarten as far as these cards are concerned, because once we go more in depth as to what these cards could even mean further ahead, with different spreads, then we're going to talk about the spreads, where we can do the creative spreads, we can do the intuitive spreads, we can do the traditional spreads, right? We can do the traditional spreads if that's going to help you. Maybe your muerto it's easier for your muerto that way. Maybe that is what they want. And I've had them both. I've done the traditional, and I've done, this is why I keep saying, I've done just one for work. I've done 4 piles, 4 different readings, and based on what it is that I'm looking at, then I'm able to crisscross them. My muerto tells me, no, get this one, put him back in the deck, reshuffle, and ask the question better. It depends on your guy over here. But understanding that you're the tool, you are the ultimate tool, you're going to understand how to use your intuition much, much better, much easier, much better. Okay. All right. So let's go now to the 5 of Swords. Put it like this so you can see it. So this is the 5 of Swords. Okay. This has to do with changes and kind of separations. How do I remember separations and changes? Well, you have these 2 facing down, this 2 facing up, and then there's one that separates the ones going down and going up, right? So that to me means a separation, which brings forth a change of something, right? So this card can convert into a good and favorable situation, but it can convert it into threats and obstacles depending on where it falls and what your client or what you are experiencing at that time. It can also, depending, let's say that you want to do a future spread, then it's going to show you, hey, there's some threats and obstacles in your future. Well, this is where you come up with, okay, so somebody needs to tell me what it is, and let's fix it here in the present so it doesn't manifest in the future. See where I'm going? Very important for you to understand that. It can also represent concern with a lot of regrets. And that's usually, you may have your client or yourself always smiling through things, but this is something that it's like a hidden, that concern and regrets. It's inside their, part of their shadow work is basically what I'm talking about when this particular Cinco de Espadas comes out. In the general reading or in a particular house that you're talking about, a particular, not an astrological house, but either the house of health, the house of mental health or emotions, the house of work, the house of family, the house of love. Okay, when I talk about houses, unless I specifically talk about an astrological house, then I will say it's an astrological house. But other than that, you can have different spreads for different things, for different aspects of the person's life. It shows the need to settle negative aspects of your client's karma. Very, very important. When you settle karma, you are making a change. You are separating yourself from the karma, right? Very, very synonymous to what the Five of Swords is trying to, in the Spanish deck, trying to show, and especially where it is that it lands. But it also foreshadows an important dislike or maybe a very strong confrontation. Again, it could be in the future or it could be at the present that's moving towards the future, or maybe the person has already had that, depending on where it is. What timeline are you doing your spread? What timeline are you using? Always use the present so you can guide. But if there is a need to go back, you can go back in time. It'll explain things, but you certainly can't change things. You can from the present, right? But you can't go back and change things. It also explains people that are willing to bring the battle to you. A battle, whatever battle it is. It could be something insignificant, but to them, for those people, it's a battle, right? But it also brings a danger of being defeated with dishonor and lies. Here is where I tell people, do you know if that was a lie? No. Yeah, it was a lie. I would never have done that. So then what are you worried about? Pack up and go somewhere else. Change your scene. Cinco de Espadas. Change. Separation. Remove yourself from those people. Go away from those people. And tells you, separate one from the other. Truth. Lies. Battle. Peace. It's recommended to control their thoughts. So you're going to tell the client, listen, don't fall into conclusions. Stop thinking about those people and what they're trying to do, because all that's going to do is it's going to make it worse. And it's going to bring that situation into a stagnant um, position in your life, I don't think you want that, because that's only going to make it difficult. So you start talking with your client and you realize that these are just toxic peoples or situation. What are you going to tell your client? Get up and go. Can you go? What is holding you back? What could possibly make you want to stay in that environment? And this is where the uh, friend comes out from you, and you are able to channel their spiritual entourage, their angels, their spiritual guides and helpers, and they will be able to help you help your client, right? If it were upside down, it predicts desolation, misfortune, and possibly mourning. Not mourning so much a person that had died, but maybe a situation, maybe mourning their mental health, maybe mourning an event. Okay. But the positive aspect needs to be looked in or looked for in the cards that accompany that particular spread. So what I do, and I'm only showing you what I do, is and I got taught with by my grandmother, who did this forever and ever, amen. You grab that set of cards where this came out, put it with the rest of the deck, shuffle, and then just in case, shuffle again, and ask, how do we make this a favorable situation for, I don't know, Delilah, right? And you can bet your butt that this guy over here, the muerto, is going to go, oh, I can do that. I like giving great information. So do angels. Talk with them. Get the client away. This is just a warning sign, giving them the information that they need. For example, if I tell you, oh, you know, it looks like you might be fired from your current position in the next 3 months, what do you think your client is going to do? Going to do one or two things. Number one, sulk and worry themselves to death about it. Or you're going to tell them, you know what, maybe if you really like your job, maybe I would try a little harder and open up communications. See what it is that they really need you to be doing. That might save your job. 3 months down the line, they're going to come back and they're going to say, I saved my job. I'm still there. Awesome. Or I can't believe I got something better. There we go. There we go. It is the light and the positive outcome that we provide. And it doesn't cost us anything to work from our heart chakras. It does not cost us anything. On the contrary, when we give light, it reflects also onto us. So it's that beautiful give and take. Absolutely. Let's talk about the Five of Cups. Five of Cups, celebration. I call it the celebration because they're both facing up. All five are facing up. And this is why I call it the celebration. It's like, oh, everybody's, you know, bringing up the cups, going up, even though they're always going to go up. In this case, for me, when I see the Five of Cups, it's 2 and 2 and 1. Yay, perfect. This is one of the best cards that could ever come out. Okay, it announces a period of joy, celebrations, optimism, everything that's light, everything that's love, everything that's fun. Okay, if your client is asking about the progress of a problem, you can bet your butt that yes, it will work out. If the card comes close to a horse or a king, it symbolizes that this is the client. This is the client, okay? And this will be the center of attention and will receive recognition from everyone pertaining to something that they were involved in, okay? With other cups around it, it can be celebrations such as marriage, birth of a child, maybe any other family, you know, anybody in the family. As far as expenses is concerned, these are labor matters such as promotions, profit from a business. If there's gold around, it'll be a reason to rejoice over the sale possibly of a house or any other income that that comes from and in the form of money. With swords, however, with swords around it, it could mean, and depending where it lands, and if you did a timeline read, it can give you the message of a long illness may be on its way to either disappear or get resolved. I don't like disappear, resolve. Okay, it's going to be resolved one way or another. Okay, so this is a great card. I love this card. For me, it's a celebration because if you are getting over a long illness and you're resolving it, that's a cause for celebration. If you're getting money from a sale of a house, maybe it's because you're going to move into a bigger house. Well, that's a sale. That's a celebration. If you have a birth of a child, that's a celebration. So everything has to do with celebration. So this is why I like this card a lot. And then we have the Five of Coins. The Five of Coins announces joy, celebrations, and recognitions, right? The number 5 is related to karma, which is an effective commitment that will be decisive for the life of your client, okay? And it's going to be very specific when you see what else is around it. It represents discovery of an affective bond of significance. Now, being able to be a lover of those that don't forget, that is an affective bond. The card also indicates a positive meeting or a place where a specific activity or group of activities. Here, let me turn it like this because I think, yeah, this way it has light, this way. So it indicates a positive meeting or the place where specific activities that benefit your client gets developed or are being developed. The other side to this card, and it depends on what it is around, you have to take into account the cards that accompany this card, top, bottom, side to side. It can warn you of disagreements in a relationship, a debauchery, or discussions, and even economic loss of some kind. So if they're asking about their wealth or their money and economy, if depending on how this comes out and what is around it, you may be able to forewarn them. Save your money. Save your money, dude. Right? Okay, so now I'm going to take out the 6 and prepare the 6, and I will come back. I'm trying to make these videos small so it's not so cumbersome. Thank you.